My songs know what you did in the dark. So light 'em up, 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 light 'em up, 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 light 'em up, up, I'm on fire. So light 'em up, 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 light 'em up, 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 light 'em up, up, I'm on fire.
Yo-ho everybody, and welcome to another edition of Yinzer on Hockey. I'm going to wrap up my series on my favorite players from each division. Today we'll be taking a look at the Pacific Division. Pacific Division is an 8-team division featuring the Anaheim Ducks, Los Angeles Kings, Arizona Coyotes, San Jose Sharks, Calgary Flames, Vancouver Canucks, Edmonton Oilers, and the Vegas Golden Knights. We'll start off taking a look at my favorite player from the Anaheim Ducks, and that is Rickard Rakell. This youngster, 24 years old, 5 years in the NHL, first round pick in the 2011 NHL draft. He's had a pretty immediate impact on the Anaheim Ducks roster. In 313 games played, has 198 points, plus 16 for his career. Been a very steady first and second line forward for Anaheim. Has the versatility to play on both the center and right wing positions, and just adds a lot of depth to the great group of forwards that Anaheim already has. Playoff stats: 46 career games played, 19 points, and a +1 rating in the playoffs. Anaheim has been mostly disappointing the past few years. With that core group they've had, you would have suspected they made at least a run or two at the Stanley Cup playoffs. Hasn't quite came to fruition for them in recent memory, but I think Rakell gives them the stability moving forward beyond their core group, which is probably likely on the back end of their careers with Corey Perry, Ryan Getzlaf, and Ryan Kessler. So I think they'll be in good hands in the next few years. For the Los Angeles Kings, my favorite player for the Los Angeles Kings is Jonathan Quick. Won the Jennings Award this year as the goaltender with the best goals against average for the regular season. Twice he's won that award. Also won the Conn Smythe in 2012 when the Kings won the first of their 2 Stanley Cups with that core group. 556 games played, a .916 save percentage, and a 2.28 goals against average. Just stellar career numbers for the young goaltender. I'm sorry, for the veteran goaltender. His playoff numbers are even more impressive. He has played in 85 games, career .922 save percentage, 223 goals against average with 9 shutouts. And again, he's got the Conn Smythe for the 2012 playoffs and 2 Stanley Cup championship rings. Just a consistent goaltender for them. For the Arizona Coyotes, I went with Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Max Domi being a close second for me. But in 576 career games, he has 290 points. He's a -73, but again, he's been on an Arizona Coyotes team that has not been outstanding the past few years. He has 1 postseason appearance, 16 games, 4 points, -3. He's more of a defensive-minded defenseman, not as much on the score sheet as you would like for modern-day defensemen. That tends to be more where teams are going, is puck-moving defensemen, and not as much on the defensive side of things. But I like the dual capabilities of Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and I think he is a core piece of Arizona as they continue their rebuild under their new head coach, Rick Tocchet. For San Jose, quite the opposite of Ekman Larsson. I like Brent Burns. He is an offensive-minded defenseman. He in 961 career games, he has 566 points. Career stat of +2, although this year did bring him down quite a bit. San Jose wasn't as steady in their own end as they have been in years past. Kind of went towards more of a rush offense this year. And also the injuries and loss of a lot of veteran players this year kind of thrust Burns into a spotlight. He even had to play some wing this year due to the injury concerns that San Jose had. Postseason wise, Burns has played 74 postseason games and has scored 46 points, +3 in the postseason. And again, I really like the offensive versatility that he brings to San Jose, and a guy that fills whatever role you ask him to play, just an all-around team player, and I like his abilities. For Calgary, I went with the youngster Johnny Gaudreau, 5 years in the NHL, has played 312 games, 288 career points, +11. Just a solid core piece of Calgary as they continue to build moving forward. He's has great goal scoring abilities as well as playmaking abilities from the wing. And I think that as the rebuild continues in Calgary, especially under new coach Bill Peters, he will find a role for Johnny Gaudreau to have an incredible amount of success. I know he's coaching him right now in the IIHF World Championships with Team Canada, and he's been a great consistent player year in, year out for the Flames. Postseason career, he's played 15 games, 11 points, -6. But again, Calgary hasn't had any extended runs in the playoffs with Gaudreau. So maybe those numbers will increase and improve as his career goes on. For Vancouver, my favorite player for Vancouver right now, since the Sedins announced their retirement, would have been Henrik Sedin in any other year. But I'm going to go with Brock Besser, probably the future captain of the Vancouver Canucks. 71 games played, 60 points. That number could have been a lot higher. He was probably on pace to have about 70 to 75 points this year till he got hurt in the with his collision. I believe it was with the bench door. Ended up injuring his back, so we'll see how he recovers from that going forward. But definitely quite an ability to score goals. He had 29 goals this year, so you'd have to assume that he has the potential to be a 30 or 40 goal scorer in the future. No playoff appearances yet in his 2 years in the NHL, but I think as Vancouver continues to rebuild, the playoffs may not be too far off for Vancouver. Probably not this year, but within 2 to 3 years, as they replace their core, he will be a key piece for them. For the Edmonton Oilers, I chose Connor McDavid. Obviously, this is a generational talent. He will take up the mantle for the best player in the league from Sidney Crosby moving forward. He is... I don't think there's a lot that you can say about Connor McDavid that hasn't already been said. In 3 years, 209 games played, 256 career points, back-to-back 100-point seasons, back-to-back Art Ross trophies. Won the Hart Trophy last year, as well as the Lester Pearson. Just a phenomenal athlete. Does things, just highlight reel after highlight reel every time he's on the ice. His playoff career, 13 games played, 9 points, plus 3. A misleading statistic, probably because he's only appeared in the playoffs once. So Edmonton needs to find the players to put around him to continue to develop their franchise moving forward. They will have many chances to win a Stanley Cup with Connor McDavid as the centerpiece of that franchise. For the Vegas Golden Knights, hard to pick anybody on this roster. I went with Marc-Andre Fleury. Again, I'm a Penguins fan, so have an emotional tie to Marc-Andre Fleury. He was my favorite Penguin for the longest time, and now he's my favorite Golden Knight. He has played in 737 career games, posting a .913 save percentage and a 2.56 goals against average. He had a career year this year with a .927 save percentage and a 2.24 this year with the Golden Knights. Anchored that franchise in their inaugural season and has been a key part of why they're having the success that they're having in the playoffs this year. He's got 4 shutouts in 10 games this year in the postseason, and just continues to be an amazing story for the young franchise. Postseason record, he has played in 125 games, a .912 save percentage and a 2.5 goals against average, 3-time Stanley Cup champion, including 2009, where he played in all 24 of the Penguins postseason games, and was definitely a key contributor in that Stanley Cup run, as well as their Stanley Cup run last year, where he guided the Penguins through the first 2 rounds while Matt Murray recovered from injury. It's a bit of a double-edged sword when Penguins fans try to make the Murray-Fleury comparisons. I commend the management for their decision and their ability to make the decision that was both best for Murray and Fleury. It was good for Fleury to have an opportunity to get consistent play time, to be the number 1 guy again, and I don't know that there was many franchises where he was going to be an uncontested number 1 goaltender. Vegas was the best situation for him and his family to move forward, as well as the best situation for the Penguins to bring in Matt Murray to be the uncontested number 1 goaltender. And it's been successful for both franchises. So I'm glad that it turned out the way it did for Fleury. I'm glad that Vegas has had the success that they've had with Fleury anchoring that team. So those are a look at my favorite players from the Pacific Division. Let me know who you guys thought were your favorite players from the Pacific Division. And don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you're just passing through. And we'll see you again next time. Thanks.